Infinite football.
I tried to watch the show on my phone on Friday.
You were in the chat.
I was, but the audio on my phone wouldn't work. I have no clue what that was about.
That's upsetting.
But it wouldn't work.
They're working against us. They took away our audio.
Did they?
Yeah, I don't know who they is, but
Oh, okay.
they.
Okay, here we go. How was your football viewing weekend? Did you view any football?
Viewed a lot of football. Also went to a movie.
Ooh, what movie?
I went and saw We Live in Time, which is the Andrew Garfield, Florence Pugh A24 movie.
Okay. Good?
Cried my eyes out.
Okay.
I cried my little eyes out.
You're going to cry in most movies these days, but all right.
True. That is true. But my husband cried too.
Oh, there we go.
So it's a double tearjerker.
Oh, love a double jerker.
And then it was football.
Which game?
I'm so mad. I'm out of practice now that I don't exist in the Pac-12, and the Pac-12 After Dark does not get me through a late Saturday night, so I missed the end of the BYU-Utah game live, and I'm just kicking myself. Like, I used to be something. I used to be a contender.
What was the song?
Oh, it was a song off of the new No Worries album that came out this year. From Here, features Snoop Dogg. It was good.
Okay.
It was a relaxing little ditty coming into.
Oh, more little ditties. Let's get it.
You had a good homecoming?
A great homecoming. Thoughts and prayers to the family of those injured and slain in the shooting, but I don't know what to say. Everybody's got them. Things pop off and people get to shooting, unfortunately. But
Did Tuskegee win?
Hell no.
Oh, okay.
Did Tuskegee win?
My bad.
No, Miles beat the hell. Shout out to Sherm, a proud Miles alum. Hold your head high. Beat the hell out of Tuskegee. It was our 100th homecoming. 47,000 plus in attendance for a D2 football game. To date this season, the largest crowd for a D2 football game. It was incredible. And then Tuskegee lost.
And then they lost. We hope this week is a win. What's up, everybody? It is Monday, November 11th. Gonna be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, not one, but two Memphis Grizzlies wins over the weekend. We'll have highlights from yesterday's win against the Portland Trailblazers, some injury updates, lots of injuries around the NBA to get into over the weekend. That was unfortunately one of the bigger stories around the league. We have a ton of college football to get through, as well as the NFL. I watched Jared Goff throw five interceptions last night and still win on Sunday Night Football. We'll get into the biggest stories from the weekend in all of those sports. Gary Parrish will join us about 40 minutes in. The Memphis Tigers men's basketball team is 2-0. Big win over UNLV this weekend. We'll get GP's thoughts on that, plus the Auburn plane mess that took over my timeline on Friday night, where a plane had to turn around. Then they got a big upset win this weekend. We'll end with a little Hot Mess Express, how the wicked Mattel Barbie doll boxes went so wrong, and some monkeys that continue to be escaped in South Carolina. Lots to get into. We'll have some fun. You know what we say. I was waiting. It's Monday? It's Monday?
Monday!
Woo! Monday!
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
At Southland Casino Hotel, it's time to work hard, play hard with our $500,000 giveaway. Earn entries October through November 9th and take home free play and amazing prizes on select Saturdays, including a big rig. Stay connected on social media for weekly drawing clues. Join us November 9th for the grand finale drawing where you could drive off in a four-wheeler, side-by-side, or big rig. Work hard and play harder at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
So if I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Goldberg announces he's going to have a retirement match in 2025, and he said this on College Game Day.
We know you're trying to ride the coattails because the 2025 is supposed to be the year of John Cena. Goldberg, I have a message for you, my guy. We don't care about your retirement match. Your retirement match was 3 years ago. Go somewhere, go away.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, let's have a little fun now. I wanna let it all out. That's what it's all about. Cause I deserve this feeling, having my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, everybody? I hope you had a wonderful weekend, a pretty good Memphis sports weekend. Memphis men's basketball beat UNLV. Memphis women's basketball beat Samford. Tigers football took care of their food. They beat Rice, and we got not one, but two Memphis Grizzlies wins, with the Grizzlies beating the Wizards here at home on Friday, followed by a win on the road in Portland on Sunday. Let's hit the lights from last night's victory. No Sunday scaries in Portland for the Grizzlies. A little Zach Edey mixtape to start this off. The finish over DeAndre Ayton put the Grizz up double digits. Why would I show you a free throw? Because Edey's going to laser tap that one right into the hands of Scotty Pippen Jr. He hits the three. It was Edey versus Donovan Clingan that had everyone popping popcorn on a Sunday night, and we saw this one 1,000,000 times in the national championship game. Grizz led 31-17 after the first, up 23 late in the second, and you just got zippin' pippined between the legs to Jake LaRavia for the finish. In this house, we never go to bed without counting our Huff Stuffs. 1, 2, 3 in the first half. He ended up with a career-high 6 blocks last night for Jay Huff. Grizzlies led by 20 at half. It is November 11th, but I am here to inform you that Jaylen Wells is really making a way too early first-team all-rookie case. The nice finish over Jeremy Grant, followed by this drive through the lane, a little pivot pass to Pippen in the corner. His three is good. The Grizzlies made 16 threes in Portland. The Blazers were 4 of 42 from three. And the maths. The Grizz up big. A Trip J three on one end. And on the other, it's going to be Zach Edey who comes up with another block. 13 Grizzlies blocks along with 15 steals. The stocks were high. Point Luke Kennard. He had 11 assists off the bench. Jaren leading the team with 20 points last night. That's a three. And how about an Edey three over Donovan Clingan? Just for good measure. You know, Grizzlies up big. No let up for this team last night. The ball was moving. Brandon Clark gets it here with a nice feed to Santi Aldama, who for the night wears the reverse dunk crown. And the Grizz end back-to-back games with Yuki action and Yuki buckets. Woo! Yuki! Grizz win 134-89. We obviously have so many important sports things to get to from the weekend in Memphis, but I think we can all agree that Yuki getting his first real NBA bucket, not a free throw, was the most important happenings of the weekend in all Memphis sports. Am I right, CJ? We got a Yuki three right here in this building on Friday night. We got Yuki buckets last night. We got a Yuki dime as well coming at the end of that game against the Wizards on Friday. Look at this. Behold, Yuki Kawamura time. Woo!
Favorite part about the video is how look at how excited everybody is.
Okay, that's my favorite. That's the whole reason I wanted to bring this up, because yes, the fans at FedEx Forum were so amped to have Yuki score. Like, maybe the loudest it's been in that building all year, and I don't think that's being hyperbolic. It's just symbolic of how excited people were for Yuki time. It was also that way in Portland last night. The away team fans, the Trailblazers fans, and listen, after watching that game, they don't have a whole lot to cheer for. So they, too, were inspired by Yuki Mania. I was just on the cusp of falling asleep last night. Like, my eyes were fluttering in bed. The game is on in the background. We'd been switching back and forth between Sunday Night Football and the end of the Grizzlies game. And it was so loud, I was like, what's going on? And then I realized Yuki was in the game. Duh. Like, of course, everyone is cheering for Yuki Kawamura in that moment. So I do really enjoy that this has taken over, not just here in Memphis, but everywhere. Like, everyone's cheering for Yuki.
As well they should. Like, he's fun to watch out there getting after it on the court. And it's interesting. I think Taco Fall was the last one of those to come through where it's, hey, this guy's probably not going to play a whole lot of minutes, but when he comes in the game,
it's a show.
Everybody's just pulling for him, and it's such a show. We do that with the extremes. The extremely tall, which is the case in Taco Fall's case. What was Taco? Like 7'6", maybe? Or the extremely 7'6". So 7'6" Taco Fall, and then 5'8" Yuki. Like, we do that. You have to be extremely tall or extremely short to get that sort of love from everybody in the NBA. And Yuki's getting that right now.
My favorite thing was when he made the three and, like, Jaren was going to celebrate him on Friday, and the camera shot shows Jaren. It was like me interviewing Jaren at open practice where we decided I needed a box. Yuki needs a box because it completely cut off Yuki Kawamura, who was the highlight being celebrated, and it was just Jaren Jackson Jr.'s head. Two great wins for the Grizzlies. I'll call them great because you take on the teams in front of you, but I will say if you are dealing with injury concerns, might I suggest just trying to stack your schedule with the Wizards and the Trailblazers, because I came out of Friday night thinking that's a team that you can really look good against. I think the Wizards might make most teams look good. And then watching the Trailblazers last night, they were 1 of 18 from three in the first half. 1 of 18. It is a tough scene in Portland. Obviously, a lot to get into based on what we've seen from the Grizzlies, who are now 7-4 on the season without a good number of their main guys, which is solid. They have now won 5 of their last 6. We did get an injury update as it pertains to Ja Morant over the weekend, which I'm going to call a positive injury update, CJ, considering that the vibes here at FedEx Forum on Friday in regards to Ja, they were shockingly low. Like, it really hit me just how burnt people were by last season, because they saw Ja roll out on crutches. Not roll out, he's not in a wheelchair, but hobble out on crutches, I guess you should say. And people came up to me as I was leaving the game asking, do you think Ja's out for the season? And I was like, no, I don't think, I hope Ja. And then it had me in my head like, well, God, what if Ja was out for the season? And so then you're waiting for the official injury update from Grizzlies PR. And I guess kind of like spurring it all was Taylor Jenkins before the game on Friday said that he was going to have another consultation. And anytime you hear like needs another consultation, usually means you didn't really like what the first consultation had to tell you, but it can also just mean getting more information. And so what we learned was that Ja is week to week. Which I know there are now 3 players with the dreaded week-to-week status with Desmond Bane, Marcus Smart, and John Morant. And the ambiguity of week-to-week can be less than ideal, but it's a hell of a lot more ideal than what Chet Holmgren had to deal with yesterday, finding out that he's going to miss up to 2 months with a pelvic fracture. Of all the fractures, if we're ranking worst fractures, where's pelvic?
I think I got pelvic 2.
What's 1?
I think a spine fracture.
Oh, yeah, anything back related.
I think a spine fracture would be 1. But yeah, pelvic, like that's all you do. You do a whole lot of interesting things with that region. You can't. I'm assuming you can't do that anymore.
Can you go
for
to the
a while.
bathroom?
What's
I don't know.
that feel like?
This is like such a I'm not a doctor comment. Can you go to the bathroom?
I know you can't. You can't jump behind something in the club. You
can't
do that.
You cannot do that.
You can't grind. I know you can't do that.
You see a lot wrong with a little bump and grind when you've got a fractured pelvis.
We
it's
probably
not
should have
work.
seen a lot wrong with a little bump and grind with R. Kelly, but whatever.
Right. Hindsight is really 20/20.
His mom was telling him no, but his body was telling him yes.
It was like injuries were everywhere in the NBA this weekend. On Saturday, that's when you got the news that Ja was week to week, but you also saw Kevin Durant have a calf issue that's going to keep him out at least 2 weeks as he'll continue to be reevaluated. Zion Williamson is dealing with a hamstring strain, and it just had a lot of people early on thinking, like, how do we fix this? Like, there are so many, there's always going to be injuries. Sports are full of injuries, period. But my timeline was trying to recreate the NBA schedule. They're like, well, if we go from 82 to 72, and if we add 2 more teams, then you're not really losing that many games. And it was like whiteboard math going on at all times. I do think perhaps in the future there will be some sort of, I don't want to say reckoning, but like playing an 82-game season is long. I don't know. I am not medically inclined to know the difference of 82 versus 72 or like what those magic numbers look like. But it certainly does put it in the spotlight when there's this many injuries so early. And the Chet one was just feels gross to say the icing on the cake because icing on cake is supposed to be a positive. So the poop at the end of the weekend, like, what else are you going to say?
I mean, we've been playing 82 games. Injuries are going to happen. Every season isn't going to have this many injuries, particularly in the beginning of the season. I'm not sure if a whole schedule revamp is needed. I will say, though, maybe you cut down on the 6 games in 9 days. That is
and
a
back-to-backs.
start. Like that's a big start. The Grizzlies, while they are sitting at 7-4, hadn't played the best competition to date, but they did have that stretch of games where they had 2 back-to-backs in 5 days or something ridiculous like that. Like, yo, you break that up, and that could go a long way in providing a bit more health for some of these players.
The chat brings up really good fractures that are definitely worse than a pelvic fracture.
I don't believe it.
How about your skull? I think a skull fracture is...
That's fine.
Anything that deals with the brain freaks me out.
That's third.
Okay, what about a neck fracture?
Is a neck not part of the back?
You can't even do this.
Is a neck not part of the back?
Technically everything is interconnected. Haven't you listened to the Jameis Winston video? Come on.
Listen.
Dr. Jameis Winston told me.
Pelvis is worse than both of those.
You want to know what I actually think is the worst?
What?
A toe. Because there's nothing you can do about it. And you know when you fracture a toe or break a toe, they're like, too bad, so sad.
I know you're not comparing your toe to your
I sure am. At least
with
the pelvis,
there's... How long is the toe going to have you down?
Sometimes it doesn't heal. And then you jam it against the dishwasher because somebody leaves the dishwasher open all the time. I don't know who that could be. But then you run into it and you do it again. Come on. There's no treatment plan for a broken toe or a fractured toe.
Yeah, but it's not going to stop any of the sweet, sweet love making. Like, let's be real here.
About. My bad.
Like the pelvis is where that motion in the ocean comes from. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like that's where you make the waves at. The waves right there. You can't do this, I don't think, with a messed up pelvis.
Chet Holmgren's post about it made me sad. He tweeted from the hospital bed, and anytime someone's tweeting from the hospital bed,
And that's crazy after he
down
played
bad.
82. He played what? Did he play all? He played all 82 last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he said he's been here before because the year before, obviously, he had the injury. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back, talk about the things that are going so well for the Grizzlies during this stretch of games where they are still without a significant number of players. We'll also get into the college football weekend. That was a big win for Ole Miss over Georgia in Oxford, a big win for Alabama in Death Valley. The Tiger could not save the Tigers. Memphis football got a win over Rice. We'll continue to shout them out. And we'll be talking about Penny Hardaway's 2-0 start with this Memphis Tigers basketball team with Gary Parrish. All still ahead when we come back.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates.
Now every time you go to Miami, you can go see, like, that's a statue of me there.
No, I don't look nothing like that thing, man. Look, I'm sorry.
I would have been offended.
Look at that. That is UTA.
Oh, my God.
Oh, look. Hey, y'all got to get that screenshot, man. Put that on the...
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The three big beats this week. One was root for points in honor of John Roser. How about that Miami-Louisville game?
Good
Crushed
grief.
the over, which was 60. Finished with 97 total points, 52-45. Meanwhile, the Academy's covering again, both Army and Navy, getting the job done.
This.
Army, best start since 96.
America.
Navy crushed Charlotte. They're ranked 23rd and 24th in the country.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Goldberg announces he's going to have a retirement match in 2025, and he said this on College Game Day.
We know you're trying to ride the coattails because the 2025 is supposed to be the year of John Cena. Goldberg, I have a message for you, my guy. We don't care about your retirement match. Your retirement match was 3 years ago. Go somewhere, go away.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
You know, we got to talk about Scotty Pippen Jr. Scotty has inked that contract, and he is now officially off the two-way. He is a member of the regular rotation.
Well-deserved, from my opinion. Like, he straight up earned this one from all the time put in last season with the injuries to Summer League.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizz Beat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Who do you see ending up in the SWAC championship game? So give me your East and your West based on what you see right now.
If I had to say from what I've seen this year so far, I think you're probably going to get a Southern Jackson SWAC championship.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
back. So the Grizzlies get the win yesterday against the Portland Trailblazers on the road. They might catch a break again with the Lakers coming up on Wednesday in LA because added in all of that injury mess from the weekend, Anthony Davis hurt his eye in their game yesterday. So TBD what Anthony Davis's status will be this time around.
Big week for the Grizzlies. Lakers,
Big.
Warriors, Nuggets.
In-season tournament Warriors.
Oh, wait. We start the in-season tournament?
We're talking about the Cup.
The NBA Cup?
Yeah.
Let's go.
I love the Cup. Chris saw that pop up on TV yesterday. He was like, IST. Oh, the Warriors game is a tournament game. It just means more. It is a big week, and it will be a very illuminating week. Obviously, if we can hope and dream that Marcus Smart is close to coming back. He was upgraded to doubtful, which has usually, once you start making the upgrade from out to doubtful to questionable, we know how that has typically gone for the Grizzlies, but hopefully they start getting some bodies back. We've seen Vince Williams Jr. start to do his pregame warmups, which is certainly a good sign, and perhaps they can rest a little bit on the defensive end if they are still waiting to get Desmond Bane back. Gigi Jackson is still early 2025, it looks like, or late 2024. But what has been great, like Jaren Jackson Jr. has been phenomenal. And I do think last year served as great training ground for him to be prepared to play with anybody, but also to take over games. Like poor Alex Sarr here on Wednesday for the Wizards was given a very introductory course on mystical creatures.
Welcome to the league, baby.
I wondered in my head, we always ask, like, what was your welcome to the league moment? And I wonder if getting annihilated by Jaren Jackson Jr. At one point, he even tried to grab his jersey to slow him down, and there was just no hopes. Jaren also had a block on Bub Carrington in that game that ended up getting called a foul, but Jaren was like, and Bub was on the ground for a long time, and I said, that might be your welcome to the. It might have been a game full of welcome to the NBA moments. It has been fun seeing Zach Edey show a little ounce to everything. He got into it with Jonas Valanciunas on Friday after Jonas, good old friend of FedEx Forum, JV, kind of threw an elbow into Edey, and then Edey came back and just ran right into him. And I was like, ooh, I like that from Zach Edey. And Zach Edey got into it with the Trailblazers at the end of the game yesterday because he blocked a dude's shot with 3 seconds left, up like 45. Should you block a shot up 45 with 3 seconds left?
Are you shooting a shot?
Are you still playing the game of basketball?
Are you shooting a shot? You don't
I'm
want me to
playing through the
block your
buzzer.
shot? You don't
I'm
want me
playing
to
through the
block it?
buzzer.
Don't shoot it. That's
I
all
like
you.
this version of Zach Edey. That's all I'm saying.
Get up there.
I appreciate. Jaylen Wells has been awesome. Jake LaRavia has low-key been maybe the gluiest of the glue to hold this together on both ends of the court. He's been really impressive as a playmaker, something that I wasn't exactly sure where that sat within his game, but that's been consistent. At one point, I thought the game last night, maybe what was the most indicative of the stretch and like how hard these guys are playing, despite being down a good number of bodies, it was either third quarter or early fourth quarter where Jaren Jackson Jr. is like throwing himself onto the ground after a 50-50 ball, and then it's like kind of, it's one of those, oh my God, this is a mess of a play. And then Jake LaRavia is throwing himself on the ground on the other side to try to keep it in possession for the Grizzlies as well. And they were up 30-something at the time. Like, certainly didn't need to be diving on the ground trying to get 50-50 balls against the Trailblazers, but they were. And that, to me, like, speaks volumes. Like, this team, technically speaking, is down a similar number of guys to last season, but they just look more formidable. And every player fits. They are going to have a hell of a decision to make when it comes to figuring out the rotation when and if everybody is healthy, because they have like 13 guys right now who could all make a claim for minutes. And you obviously cannot have a 13-man rotation. I don't think that's going to go over. Do you think Grizzlies fans would welcome a 13-man rotation?
Are the Grizzlies going to be winning?
Yeah.
If they're winning, the Grizzlies fans will welcome anything. Now, I don't know how many games you'll win rolling 13 deep. But, yeah, to your point, you got to narrow that thing down to 8, maybe 9 max. And there's a lot of dudes who can lay claim to, hey, I deserve to get minutes nightly. And now, listen, it'll be up to the players who aren't getting those nightly minutes to be ready to go when their number is called, because injuries happen, illnesses happen. You will be inserted into the lineup at some point in time. You got to make the most of it when you are. Think about what Xavier Tillman was for this team 2 or 3 years ago, right? Like, where didn't play a whole lot, but when his number was called, he gave you quality minutes. You got to be ready and willing to accept that type of role. You got to have some of those players being ready and willing to accept that type of role if you're the Memphis Grizzlies right now.
And while they've been without Ja, like Scotty Pippen Jr. has been worth everything. I cannot imagine being the Los Angeles Lakers and looking at Scotty Pippen Jr., who they will see again on Wednesday in LA, and thinking we could have had that. And it is a testament to situations work better for some people just elsewhere. Like the grass is always greener, but sometimes it's just a matter of going and finding the place where you're going to be able to grow the best and actually play real minutes, and then you're ready for a situation like Scotty is this year, because he had to play a lot of starter minutes last year. He had his first triple-double of his NBA career against the Wizards on Friday. It is assumed that that makes him and his dad, Scottie Pippen, the first father-son duo to both have triple-doubles. I loved this throwback picture 21 years ago. If you want to feel old, here you go. But there's Scottie Pippen with Scotty Pippen Jr. in his arms, and then Scotty Pippen Jr. in the game against the Wizards. But the way that he's been able to control the offense, obviously what he gives to you on the defensive end too, but trying to find as many ball handlers as possible on this team. They've always talked about Luke Kennard as an option to play more on ball. And last night, like that truly came to fruition. 11 assists off the bench in 20 minutes. If you can get that from Luke Kennard, then cool. That's the thing I keep saying. Like, if you can get this from this, if you get 6 blocks from Jay Huff on any given night, like, is this the best, deepest team in the league? I know they just played the Wizards and the Trailblazers. I'm trying to
rein it in a
hold
little
myself
bit.
back.
Rein it in.
I'm trying to hold
Listen,
myself back.
You can use Luke Kennard on the ball in moments in games. Absolutely, you can. And by moments, I mean for several minute stretches. But I think that takes away from what Luke Kennard is really, really good at, which is being a knockdown three-point shooter and being a legitimate floor spacer out there on the court. So with Scottie Pippen Jr. playing the way that Scottie Pippen Jr. is, assuming bring health into it, make everybody healthy, I think the role that you most want Luke Kennard in is that, hey, that three-point assassin role.
Right.
Luke, come into the game hot, ready to light it up from deep.
But it's so crazy because you thought that you needed that from Luke. Like that felt really necessary for this team to achieve its ceiling. And now you have it from Jaylen Wells. Like he's already proven, I know that's crazy to say, 11 games into an NBA career, and certainly you see sometimes players have hot starts, but Jaylen Wells as a 3-level scorer, as a playmaker, anytime Jaylen Wells pulls up from 3 now, I'm like, yes, that makes sense. Do it again.
It's NBA. You need more than one.
Right.
Like
you need infinite.
Yes.
You can't be the Portland Trailblazers going 4 of 45. There's a reason why they're towards the bottom of the standings.
You got Jaylen Wells, and you got Luke Kennard, and you got Desmond Bane, and you got Gigi Jackson, and you got Huff.
And Scotty's been making some threes.
Scotty, who's been making some. Vince Williams Jr. is going to make some. You got Jaren. Ja has been known to make a couple. Right,
Suddenly Zach Edey's making threes.
You need as many dudes who can make threes as humanly possible in this league. And again, going back to the Luke Kennard of it all, if he's on the ball, that means that if he's playing facilitator, that means you're taking him away from being a three-point maker some. And I think that is, while he's good at both, he's more important and most valuable as that three-point shooter. So with the emergence of Scottie Pippen Jr. and the way he's been handling the ball, I would say, let somebody else be the facilitator and let Luke focus on getting those three-point shots up and in.
All right, we'll continue the Grizzlies conversation a bit with Gary Parrish when he joins us, but let's turn to college football for a moment. Memphis did not do the unimaginable and lose to Rice. Thank goodness. 27-20, the win for Memphis. I know it's hard to see what's the phrase? See the forest through the trees? The trees through the forest, whatever it is, because there's not really anything but the bowl game to be playing for, but there's also pride, and it would have been a really nasty feeling to lose to Rice. And so for Memphis to get the win, I thought that was solid when it did not seem given at all points of that game. That poor Tiger that they borrowed for the LSU game, first time a live Tiger was on the sidelines in over a decade. And this poor Tiger, Omar from Florida, had to go all the way to Death Valley just to watch Alabama roll over LSU. Maybe there's a lesson to be learned here. Maybe we don't need to put the live Tiger on the sidelines at Death Valley for a night game. Nonetheless, Alabama looked, if Alabama could just play LSU, they looked fantastic in a 42-13 win. Jalen Milroe ran for 185 yards and 4 touchdowns.
You're not supposed to just go into Death Valley and
run for 185 yards and 4 touchdowns?
And win, let alone do that. Like, that's Heisman moment-esque is what that is.
It was a hell of a win. And Garrett Nussmeier had a really game. Who had a worse game this weekend, Garrett Nussmeier or Carson Beck? Carson Beck statistically
is a bad quarterback.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
Like, watching that game, I was determined. It felt like he threw 5 picks. He only threw 1 in Oxford over the weekend, but it felt like he threw 5. And the one that he threw in the fourth quarter where Georgia was still trying to figure out a way to come back. Shout out to Lane Kiffin, who finally gets the big one. And I thought his comments about his dad afterwards were very sweet. But more than that, like, Ole Miss needed that game. It was an elimination game. Just like the Alabama-LSU game was an elimination game. Alabama now still has a chance at the college football playoff. LSU does not. Ole Miss had to beat Georgia in order to stay alive. And not only did they beat Georgia,
they beat Georgia.
They have you putting in the chat who is the best team in the SEC is our live chat question of the day. They got 17% of the vote, 41% to Texas, 40% to Tennessee. Tennessee's gonna have to figure out what's up with Nico because he got hurt and had to leave that game over the weekend.
Nico doesn't matter.
It's all about the Tennessee defense.
Nico,
I was impressed by Ole Miss's defense, I will say.
Ole Miss's defense has been
solid,
good this year, and some of that is the level of competition that they've played, especially early in the season. But even in SEC play, that's been a top 3, top 4, 5 defense in the SEC week in, week out. On the Carson Beck of it, we talked on Odds Couple. Rob has us do our top 5 list. And about 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, he was like, all right, give me your top 5 quarterbacks in the SEC. And I wanted desperately to put Beck on my list. It's like, yo, I can't. You watch Georgia play, and all the playmakers are still sort of there still, right? They still look like
a drop-off from last year. But
yeah, but the last year's super elite, years past super elite, still great. And you forget sometimes, because Georgia ends up winning, how many bad throws Carson Beck made in that damn game. And then you go and you look at the season stats, and you look at, completion percentage, and you look at interceptions, and it's just like, yo, wait a second, this dude is not having a good year. He's on a good team, but he is not having a good year. Georgia's limiting factor is Carson Beck, right? Carson Beck can be the reason they'll lose games. He won't be the reason they win. He'll absolutely be the reason they lose games. They just need him to get a couple of first downs and not turn the ball over, take care of the football, and they'll be in a much better spot than where they are right now. Tennessee and Nico hadn't been good this year either. I understand there was a whole lot of hype surrounding Nico, people clamoring for Nico because what's my name? Joe Milton was running around throwing rockets at people 5 yards away, right? Like, I get it, the excitement for Nico, and he had that big bowl game against Iowa where he ran wild on Iowa. Mm-hmm. He didn't look great throwing the ball, and he hadn't looked great throwing the ball this year against quality teams. That run game that Tennessee has is superb, and that defense is really, really good. So you get you a quarterback in there who can hand the ball off to the running back and get the defense to play good D, and Tennessee will be fine. I'm really interested to see what happens in this Tennessee-Georgia game. That's this week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am obsessed with Tennessee's backup quarterback's name.
What is it?
Gaston.
Like,
I don't know if he goes by Gaston, but I'm going to call him Gaston.
He's especially good at expectorating?
My, what a guy. Gaston! Falls fans feel confident that if he were to he could do just that, right? Like, don't mess this up. Can you be a good enough quarterback to not mess this up for a defense that has been not just above average, but great in the SEC this season? And there is a belief there. All right, we have to take a quick break. I do want to get to the BYU-Utah extravaganza and an I was going to say a coach, an athletic director getting fined $40,000. That is a hefty fine for an athletic director. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show, along with all of the NFL happenings from the weekend. I really thought the Broncos were going to beat the Chiefs, so much so that I said, wow, the Broncos are going to beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead for the first time since 2015. So maybe I jinxed it. Maybe it's my fault. But we'll talk about all of that. Coming up next, though, Gary Parrish is going to join us. We'll talk about the big Memphis basketball win over the weekend in Las Vegas, along with some stories from the college basketball world. We'll get his take on the Grizzlies as well when we come back.
Who do you see ending up in the SWAC championship game? So give me your East and your West based on what you see right now.
If I had to say from what I've seen this year so far, I think you're probably going to get a Southern Jackson SWAC championship.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping. It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
We're going to need, the form rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane 3, yes sir! Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Somebody else we have not seen in a long time is Morant. Since you've seen him, does he look any different to you, or is this the same superstar Ja that we were used to?
He's always getting better, so you just got to watch out for that. That's.
And it's a revenge tour. Yeah. It's a revenge tour, like the world's forgotten about me. And
I don't think they forgot.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
One of the things I really do like about the history of the Memphis Grizzlies is that we have people who have moved here and stayed here. I like how much some of those guys have not only made millions here and won games here, but spent real time here and raised children here.
Yes.
And become a real part of the community.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Goldberg announces he's going to have a retirement match in 2025, and he said this on College Game Day.
We know you're trying to ride the coattails because the 2025 is supposed to be the year of John Cena. Goldberg, I have a message for you, my guy. We don't care about your retirement match. Your retirement match was 3 years ago. Go somewhere, go away.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
On this Monday morning. That means it's time for Gary Parrish, host of the Gary Parrish Show, weekday mornings at 10 a.m. on Grind City Media. He joins us each and every Monday. GP, how are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. You flew to Annapolis.
Not me. I didn't fly. I don't have that ability.
Oh, okay.
I set a chair.
You hopped in a plane.
I got in a plane. I wish I could fly.
That'd be cool.
To Annapolis or anywhere else. I got no plane.
I was just going to ask if anyone got in a fight on your plane.
I don't remember there being any fights on the planes about cookies or chips or anything.
Anything?
I don't remember seeing any. There was no scuffles on my flight. My flight was peaceful relative to your Auburn flight of the weekend.
I loved that Auburn, following the drama of them having to turn their plane around because two players had a moment. What did they officially call it?
Didn't
they start with a horseplay?
Well, Jeff Goodman reported, according to sources, it was horseplay, as if a basketball team would divert a plane
for horseplay.
So that's just one good lesson for journalism students out there. If you ever are covering a beat and you hear about a plane being diverted and you call one of your sources and your source says, yeah, no big deal, just horseplay, tell your source, I can't print that because I'll look silly because you didn't divert a plane for horseplay. They got no fight. There's a fight on a plane.
I loved that after they then beat Houston.
Yeah.
So they get an upset win. After that, they did the plane celebration. I like a team that can laugh at itself.
Lead into it a little bit,
Are you
right?
concerned? Is that a concerning thing, or is it something you just kind of push aside and say?
No, I think players fighting on a plane is concerning.
Okay.
I think anybody fighting on a plane is concerning. It's not something you can't work through. Not to bring up old stuff, but Tony Allen and O.J. Mayo once fought on a plane once upon a time. As I was trying to think of plane fights, that's the first one of the few that pops into my head. You don't want players fist fighting, right? But it could also mean absolutely nothing long term. I've seen friends get into scuffles and then snap out of it within 30 minutes. And perhaps this will be the same thing. But those players did not travel with the team, and it's still early, but there's also a legal component to all of this. You can't just be turning planes around all willy-nilly.
It's not that easy?
No.
It's not like a car?
No, it takes paperwork.
Okay.
It takes paperwork, and, before pilots decide we need to do this, they go through a lot of stuff. And, okay, once we do this, you realize what we're up against. So we'll see where it goes from here. But it's a wild weekend in the SEC. You got that story at Auburn, and then, of course, Florida. You got a basketball coach who's facing a Title IX allegation for, in the simplest of terms, allegedly being a real creep.
That is the simplest of terms to use for that. I'm curious. He is going to continue coaching, and he has said that he's looking into filing a defamation case against the Florida student paper, the Alligator, which in a world where beats continue to diminish. We have some great beat reporters here in the city of Memphis, but not every city is flooded with beat reporters as it once was. And so student journalism they've always been doing the work. They want to be this someday. And so you have a paper like this, the Florida student paper, that uncovers this story. Does it surprise you that he is continuing to coach and fight through this?
No, because I'm sure some lawyers have advised Florida what the next step is here. And, he just signed a extension worth roughly $4 million a year. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but let's just say for the sake of the conversation, it's a 5-year, $20 million deal. It's something like that. This could be a $20 million decision. I'm sure the lawyer said you can fire him right now, the same way you could fire anybody right now, but you're going to write a check for $20 million, maybe. Or we can let this process play out, let the investigation conclude, and then make a decision that could trigger a clause in the contract that allows us out of it for nothing. So, we'll see where it goes. I don't want to put a man in jail just off of allegations, but obviously the allegations are troubling, weird, and they come from multiple women. That doesn't necessarily mean anything, but I've long believed if multiple people are saying the same things about you, then there's probably a decent chance that there's something to it.
On a positive college basketball side, the Memphis Tigers are 2-0. And I had a little bit of trouble viewing their game against UNLV, was not quite able to get on to the Mountain West network on Saturday. I was following it.
I found it.
We were house sitting. We didn't have our normal setup, our normal situation. But it was really encouraging because when I was going through the score, I saw that they, went down 12.
Mhm.
And, oh, that's not great.
Right.
And then as I'm watching the live ESPN play-by-play, it's Haggerty. And suddenly, they're able to get a pretty impressive road win over UNLV. Your takeaway from that win?
You could chop it up a million different ways. On one hand, they've got 2 wins over top 100 KenPom teams, one of which is a true road game in a opening week of the season where lots of good teams don't play anybody. Memphis has gone out and beaten, let's just keep it factual, 2 top 100 KenPom teams. On the other hand, they were down double digits to both. Neither of these opponents are likely to be in the NCAA tournament. And though Memphis has gone from 42nd to 37th at KenPom, so top 40 at KenPom, top 40 at barttorvik.com. If you remove the preseason bias from the Bart Torvik algorithm and just focus on strictly what are teams doing since they've been on the court this season, Memphis drops all the way down to 75. So better to be 2-0 than 0-2 or 1-1. You can only play the teams in front of you, all of that stuff. But the idea that they've gone out and beaten a Houston or a North Carolina or done some of the things that other programs have done so far, that's just not true. They've beaten 2 teams that are probably in search of NIT bids or something similar. The real test comes, I think, when we get to Maui.
Yeah, and that is looming. It's not right around the corner, but you have Ohio.
Sure.
You have San Francisco, which they'll go out and play.
That's
San
another top
Francisco,
100 team.
And then they play UConn and
Right.
Maui to start Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, everything that's going to happen with the Tigers is going to happen off of the national radar unless they lose.
I got you.
You know, people always pay attention to losses in games you're not supposed to lose, not so much to wins in games you're supposed to win, particularly when you don't have a number next to your name. So the most likely scenario is that Memphis is 4-0, headed to Maui with a game against UConn, and people go, okay, because this be UConn's first test against a brand, Memphis' first test against a ranked opponent. Let's pay attention to what happens here. And if Haggerty goes out and does what he's been doing, then now we'll start talking about All-America stuff, and because he's averaging 27 points per game. If he were doing this for a ranked team, I would have probably already written about him twice.
If he was playing 2 halves per game instead of 1 half per game like he's played in the second half,
Right.
it'd be even greater.
Yeah, but that's just sort of the nature of basketball. At this level, I tell people all the time, it's why when folks say things like rankings don't matter, I just roll my eyes because they do. If P.J. Haggerty was playing for a team that was ranked 11th in the country, everybody who follows college basketball would be very aware that he's averaging 27 points per game. I'm not even sure all Memphis fans right now understand that he's averaging 27 points per game.
And that is the under radar. I did think it was encouraging. There were a good number of Tigers fans who showed up at that UNLV
That's a great
game.
trip to take.
Yeah. Maui and Las Vegas seem like 2. If I were trying to travel to see the Tigers.
From Miss Maui.
Hawaii. No, I was Miss Oahu.
You're Miss Hawaii.
Get the island
not
right.
Specifically. Maui's a little harder because
I've only been to Maui once.
Okay, it's beautiful.
It is.
It's just so far away.
Hawaii is a trip.
But I mean, you fly to LA and you're like, man, that was a trip. And then it's like, all right, 5 more hours. Maui's tough.
And that's if you're lucky to fly from here, that you get on the nonstop to LA. I've thought about this because it's not like Colorado to Hawaii was easy.
Right.
And I'll never forget one time we ended up having to drive to the Air Force airport to get a flight and because of snow.
Sure.
It was the winter. But still, normal times you were going from Colorado to LA and then LA over in LA and then LA to Hawaii. So if you're in Memphis, where we can never just get the easiness of
Delta does have a direct to LA, but it's one.
Nonstop,
it's one. It's
one a day. And it's not at the most convenient of
No, it gets you there
times.
late.
Exactly.
And
So
it
then
gets you back.
you have to get on a red eye to fly to
It's not perfect.
Hawaii.
Right. But Vegas, to
is
your point,
easy.
there's directs.
Hey, you can drive there. I did it this summer.
Yeah, I wouldn't advise that.
I would.
But you can, there's direct flights, and Vegas is just amazing any weekend. Like we went, at this point, it was a few months ago, I guess it was, and somebody asked, like, so what are you going for? And it was like, we're really just, some friends just said, hey, we should go, and we said, okay. You don't need a reason to go to Vegas. It's just, do you like pools? Do you like restaurants? Do you like spas? Do you like golf courses? Do you like clubs? Whatever you like, it's there. And then if your alma mater, your favorite basketball team's there, hey, if we're going to take a trip to Vegas, why not go see the Tigers? If I were running a college basketball program, we would schedule a game, like to Las Vegas or to New York every year.
For that reason.
Yeah, just so fans can go. Those are places people enjoy going.
Yeah. It's just a little longer. Because I always think of even like when I was at USC, you had the weekender every year.
Mhm.
So you either went for Stanford or Cal to
Right.
San Francisco, and you could drive that. Or you did the weekender to the Notre Dame game,
Right.
and you would go to Chicago
Sure.
because that stood out. And now, I mean, I don't know if people are going to do the weekender to Purdue or to Indiana, but it is interesting how you convince yourself, like, hey, this is a city that I would love to see outside of just a sporting event. If I can put a sporting event there too, that
Sure.
certainly
Well,
helps.
Duke, rarely plays non-league road games,
Mhm.
but one of the ones they would do consistently under K is at St. John's. And it was strictly because there's a million Duke graduates who live in Manhattan and work in finance or whatever. And it was just to get, like, we'll have a home court advantage in New York. Let's go to the city. That's why all those neutral court stuffs are at Barclays and the Garden, because people know fans will travel to that place.
Not finance bros making decisions.
Yeah, they're
for
there.
everyone.
They're there.
All right, Gary, you're going to stay with us for our next segment. We have to take our break.
Okay, yeah, get it
We're
in.
going to get our break in. We'll come back. You mentioned UConn. We saw a national championship game rematch last night between Zach Edey and Donovan
Mhm.
Clingan. We'll talk with you about the Grizzlies and this stretch that they've been able to navigate down some bodies. The schedule gets tougher this week. We'll get into all that when we come back.
Now every time you go to Miami, you can go see, like, that's a statue of me there.
No, I don't look nothing like that thing, man. Look, I'm sorry.
I would have been offended.
Look at that. That is UTA.
Oh my God.
Oh, look.
Hey,
y'all got to get that screenshot, man. Put that on the.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
One of the things I really do like about the history of the Memphis Grizzlies is that we have people who have moved here and stayed here. I like how much some of those guys have not only made millions here and won games here, but spent real time here and raised children here.
Yes.
And become a real part of the community.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The three big beats this week. One was root for points in honor of John Roser. How about that Miami-Louisville game?
Good
Crushed
grief.
the over, which was 60. Finished with 97 total points, 52-45. Meanwhile, the Academy's covering again, both Army and Navy, getting the job done.
This.
Army, best start since 96.
America.
Navy crushed Charlotte. They're ranked 23rd and 24th in the country.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Justin Timberlake. The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now. For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
Who do you see ending up in the SWAC championship game? So give me your East and your West based on what you see right now.
If I had to say from what I've seen this year so far, I think you're probably going to get a Southern Jackson SWAC championship.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Welcome back. Gary Parrish joining us for part 2 of our Monday convo. You watched Grizzlies Blazers last night. I watched Grizzlies Blazers last night. How would you describe this Grizzlies team? Would you call it a pickle that everyone is playing so well right now? Obviously, it's a good thing. I don't want to go negative on this because by all means, you've won 5 of your last 6. And considering that right now you don't have Ja, Desmond Bane, Marcus Smart, Gigi Jackson, Vince Williams Jr., that feels significant. There are players playing so well that it is going to cause potential rotation conundrums when everyone gets back healthy.
I'll deal with that when I got to deal with that.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. When you are a second-round pick out of Washington State, you're probably just happy to be on a roster until you start playing, until you look like you can play. And now if you get kicked to a different part of the rotation, when people start to get healthy, I'm not predicting it'll cause a problem. I'm just saying it would cause a problem for me. And it has caused problems with other basketball teams. So, could it be an issue someday? Sure. But the larger issue would be if you had the alternative. You are banged up again. You don't have depth. And now you're losing, games to Wizards and Blazers as opposed to beating Wizards and Blazers. This is, if it's a problem, I'm not even sure if it is, but if it's a problem, it's a good one to have.
You're right. The depth feels more solid this time around. Like, certainly there was perceived depth last year, but you would lose games.
Right.
That's what struck me coming out of this weekend is you look at it and you're like, oh, well, maybe at worst they'll split. But they come out with 2 big wins. I mean, they beat the Blazers by 45 points.
Yeah, last night was never they
it was never
that.
a question. From the time they went on that 17-2 run in the first quarter, I never really felt, sure, the NBA is a game of runs. I never felt as if the Blazers had a true potential to get back in that game.
Right. I mean, that's a mess of a situation. And so, but let's not discount it. Anytime you can win a game when you're down 3 starters, and really, I know Zach is healthy, but the ideal starting lineup you had in your head heading into opening night, I think only one of those dudes started last night. So you take wins wherever you can get them. They've already given some away. Any victory you can get down 3 starters, take it, feel good, move on. That's what last night was.
What did you make of the Edey Clingan battle last night?
I don't want to say it looked like the national championship game because it didn't, but Zach can score on him, and Zach is reached a point where he's not going to be terrific every night, but he can score on just about anything you're going to throw at him. And I know it's a little bit of up and down, but he's been more consistent than most. Once the season starts, the NBA is a little bit like Major League Baseball in the sense that I think most fans just focus on their team, and then you hear about what Kevin Durant's doing, you hear about what LeBron's doing, you hear about what Steph's doing, but you mostly just focus on your team. But if you start looking around, Reed Shepherd's barely playing, and I think he's going to be good. And NBA general managers said they think he'll be the best player from this draft. He's barely playing. Donovan Clingan is, coming off the bench. He's a role player. This is going pretty well in Memphis, both with Zach and Jaylen Wells.
Even with Edey coming off the bench in these last 2 games, and they've rolled with Brandon Clark and the starting 5, it's almost like it's allowed him to get more comfortable, which is an interesting thing because you could say confidence-wise, keep him in the starting lineup, feed him early, try to get that going. But I have felt like he's taken a step forward every game, it's from small to medium steps. But these last 2 coming off the bench, that hasn't seemed to affect his confidence one bit.
And that's one of those where they needed to know how that would play with him before they did it. Because for me, from a distance, I would have said, no, don't do that. You don't start. What are people saying about Zach Edey right now? Mostly all good stuff. That was
on Friday night.
Just leave it alone.
We were all up on Radio Row, why?
Because I don't like the perception of it. Most people don't take the time to ask the question, why is this happening? They just go, ooh, I thought Zach Edey was starting and playing well, but now he's coming off the bench. What happened? Well, nothing other than they're doing what they're doing. But I don't like the perception of that out there, and I would have been concerned that he would have been bothered. Even if it's just your buddy from college picking up the phone and been like, yo, man, I see you're not starting anymore. What's going on? I don't want him dealing with that. So from a distance, I would have said, don't mess with it. Get him out of there quick if you want to, but let's leave him in the starting lineup just to not disrupt that. But if he's comfortable with it, and they knew he would be because they addressed it with him, up front, which I'm certain they did, then whatever. If it works, it works.
Did you know that he had the slow? I don't even know how to describe it. He's got a little Memphis in him.
I've
now seen it in 2 games in a row.
I have seen It was there at Purdue a little bit.
Yeah.
You'd see it every once in a while. And I know Matt Painter really loved that aspect of him. Like, he's tougher than you think. He's nastier than you think. Honestly, where it really came out, because he's kind of a reserved guy, just, standing around in, certainly interview settings. But there was, I guess it was when they clinched a berth to the Final Four.
That's right.
His post-game interview. And he was trying to stay composed, and he just couldn't. He was like, I can't remember if it was I'm a effing winner or we're effing winners.
I think it was I'm an effing winner.
Okay, but it was like, this is clearly where for an entire year a guy had been saying, last year is last year. We don't carry that around with us. We play for ourselves. There's no pressure on us. And that was very clear. He'd been carrying around that pressure all year. He deep down always felt like a winner, but he knew people were saying otherwise. Okay, great. Congrats on your little Big Ten title. But when the lights came on, it was the NCAA tournament. You got bounced right out of that thing, and you'll probably he felt pressure to get Purdue back to the Final Four for the first time since 1980, to not just be a two-time Wooden Award winner who got bounced out of the tournament. And when he yelled that suggested that was a great sign to me, because it showed like he really cares. I'm way more interested in people who care than I am with people who either don't or insist that they don't. Like, you want to make me roll my eyes at you? Tell me you don't care about something, because I care about everything.
That's my biggest fear is when, and if we have children, having one of those kids who's just on the I don't care track of everything.
Yeah.
Because it would drive me insane.
I can't deal with it.
That's not how
I don't
I'm
like
built.
people who don't care about things.
I don't care. I don't care.
I don't like people who are like, I shouldn't judge people based on that. It's just, I'm not impressed by people who are like, hey, everything's fine, or I don't care. Like, I care. You should care about stuff.
The exact quote from Zach Edey was, "We're effing winners. This is what we do."
There you go.
So don't want to misquote in the moment. I will say, like, even when it came to how Ja has been playing, and this all syncs together, but the idea of like who's the enforcer for this team, because Dylan was that in a way. Steven Adams was going to go set monster screens or get in a fight with.
But
hold you back from Shannon
Steven's just presence would just calm everything down.
By nature,
he could just stand there.
Exactly.
He didn't have to do anything. He just had to be Steven Adams, and that was enough.
Yes, and so I have felt like there's been a part of Ja's game this year when he's played where he has taken up for his team in those moments, or tried to get for himself the baited double tech that we saw a couple games ago, the going back and forth with LeBron James, shoving into LeBron, like trying to set a tone for the team. And I never imagined that Zach Edey, because he has that more reserved personality, could also attribute to that. But seeing him do that to Jonas Valanciunas on Friday, I was like, ooh, there's something in there. And then at the end of the Blazers game yesterday, and also just how he approached the matchup with Clingan, I think he felt somewhere within him, it was a personal matchup last night, and it all kind of came out.
Yeah, he doesn't verbalize it often, if at all, but I think he's well aware that people have been skeptical of him at every level. In high school, he's not supposed to be a high major player. Okay, you're a high major player, but you're not supposed to be great. Okay, you're great, but this won't translate to the NBA. You'll never be a top 10 pick. Okay, you're a top 10 pick, but that's only because the Grizzlies couldn't get a deal done for Donovan Clingan. It was just one skeptic after another. We're running out of them, but I do think that motivates him and matters to him. And, you also do become a byproduct of your surroundings. And when you see LeBron James put a shoulder into Ja, and Ja immediately go back and pop him, then that shows you that, okay, that's the way we're doing things around here. I think it's all connected.
I can't wait for Yuki to have his moment like that. I'm anxiously awaiting. Right now, he's the ultimate teammate. Devin tweeted out the clip of him yesterday on the bench, giving every single person a high five as they came to the bench. I was like, I want Yuki on my team.
He knows his role, and he knows who he is. That's the other thing. As long as I'm talking about things I don't like about people, I like people who know who they are.
Yeah.
Yuki knows who he is. And, he's having it's a great side story to this season.
You tweeted about Scotty Pippen Jr. Last night. If you're the Lakers, how do you view what transpired with Scotty? And by what transpired, I mean you didn't believe in him enough to give him a contract, and now he is proving to be a more than suitable backup point guard who is currently in a starting role for this Grizzlies team.
Jay Huff, too.
And Jay Huff.
I mean, there's two.
Colin Castleton, you're next, baby.
There's two legitimate NBA rotation players for a Western Conference team, probably better than you. And you had them both, and all you had to do was give them the Bronny James contract, and they would have signed it in seconds. It's not the biggest deal in the world. When I tweeted last night, you started with saying, I understand why the Lakers did what they did. And I guess, I could have clarified more. It doesn't mean I understand why they passed on Scotty Pippen or passed on Jay Hobb. I understand why they gave Bronny the contract they gave him. I get it. But if depth does become an issue with them, and everybody seems to think that it will, then you look in Memphis, and there's two guys that you could have given a Bronny contract to, and they'd be coming off your bench. Instead, they're coming off a Memphis bench for a franchise that's probably going to finish ahead of you in the standings. If I were a Lakers fan, that would be frustrating.
A little frustrating. Right. As you saw all the injuries around the NBA this weekend, the Grizzlies are dealing with theirs. The Grizzlies and the Pelicans need to have a seance of some kind and figure out what's going on. I'm going to New Orleans next weekend.
Congratulations.
Thank you for a bachelorette party. But I'll try to see if I can figure out some positive voodoo magic to work the reverse.
I don't understand. I genuinely have a lack of understanding for why basketball players can't stay healthy. It feels like the NBA.
That's what I was going to ask you. Why can't basketball players stay healthy, Gary?
It feels like the NBA is more sidetracked by injuries than even the NFL.
Yes.
And the NFL is just big men just banging into each other nonstop. And this is the basketball players who can't stay healthy. I went because I was building a segment the other day and I just sort of scrapped it, but I was far enough into the research. Go pull up Michael Jordan's career stats someday. This guy was drinking and smoking and gambling every night. His eyes are yellow to this day. He play 82 games every year, play 36, 37 minutes every game. I don't get it. I don't understand why basketball players can no longer stay healthy. It hasn't always been like this.
Do you think it's because they're, and this is all strictly
hypothesizing
because none of us know, but you wonder, they've played more basketball than their generational peers ever did growing up between the AAU circuit and travel teams and high school, and you're in it earlier, and so your body is starting to perhaps face implications of further wear and tear that didn't exist before. I don't know either, because 82 games, you look at 82 games and it feels long, but of course 82 games have been long since the 70s.
It was 82 when I was
forever.
A kid. Yeah.
But they also feel more condensed, even though that's also not the case, but playing more games in smaller periods of time and more back-to-backs.
It just didn't used to be.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's the water.
It's counterintuitive to think athletes are taking better care of themselves than ever, are eating better than ever, and yet are sidelined more than ever.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Have higher tech rehabilitation tools than ever before.
The only very surface level explanation is that 30 years ago you'd say, I think I feel something in my leg, and they'd say, well, go play. And now you say, I think I feel something in my leg, and they say, sit down for 2 weeks. That really is in baseball. And you can say, man, my arm doesn't. If your arm doesn't feel right in baseball, they immediately take the ball out of your hand. It's just and they won't even let you touch it again for 2 weeks. If you just don't fit,
it's not worth the potential long term.
You say, I felt you'll see these press conferences all the time. So how was Justin Verlander? Yeah, he got in the bullpen for his normal session, felt something. What? Not real sure. So what's the day? He's out for a month. Well, what was it? We don't really know. It was just something. Just didn't feel right. 3 months. So you wonder if there's something to that just I don't know, but it's wild that there's 30 NBA franchises and just about every one of them is dealing with, somebody significant not being healthy enough to play.
And this weekend felt like a real highlighter of all of that. Fractured pelvis. Sounds uncomfortable for Chad Holmgren.
Wouldn't want that to happen to my pelvis.
I wouldn't either. Protect your pelvis. Everybody, thanks for being here, GP. That's good advice on a Monday, I think.
I think the best.
We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get into all the happenings of the NFL from over the weekend. Big Lions win on Sunday Night Football. And we'll also do some Hot Mess Express. Giannis Antetokounmpo got called a child yesterday. We'll get into that. Plus, all these monkeys who continue to be on the loose in South Carolina. We'll be back.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Anticipate each challenge. Make a quick response. Capitalize on every opportunity. And win. Greatness won't wait. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
At Southland Casino Hotel, it's time to work hard, play hard with our $500,000 giveaway. Earn entries October through November 9th and take home free play and amazing prizes on select Saturdays, including a big rig. Stay connected on social media for weekly drawing clues. Join us November 9th for the grand finale drawing where you could drive off in a four-wheeler, side-by-side, or big rig. Work hard and play harder at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
I will take Happy Feet. Give me Happy Feet. Hugh Jackman plays Memphis, the Penguin dad in Happy Feet. I love it. Beautiful message. The tap dancing.
Oh, that was great.
Give me Happy Feet.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
Justin Timberlake. I'm bringing sexy back. The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now. For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
We have not talked to you since we got the big fella that's going to go next to you. What has impressed you about him, though? Just being on the same court with him, because you've watched him a lot in college. You got to see him. We got to see him very, very little in summer league.
Very quick twitch, like decision making. Yeah. No real fear of anything. Like very vocal, able to talk through the game. But I mean, like, do win Player of the Year twice. Like
I know.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The three big beats this week. One was root for points in honor of John Roser. How about that Miami-Louisville game?
Good
crushed
grief.
the over, which was 60. Finished with 97 total points, 52-45. Meanwhile, the Academy's covering again, both Army and Navy, getting the job done.
This.
Army, best start since 96.
America.
Navy crushed Charlotte. They're ranked 23rd and 24th in the country.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Goldberg announces he's going to have a retirement match in 2025, and he said this on College Game Day.
We know you're trying to ride the coattails because the 2025 is supposed to be the year of John Cena. Goldberg, I have a message for you, my guy. We don't care about your retirement match. Your retirement match was 3 years ago. Go somewhere, go away.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back. CJ, I just had the cutest tweet pop up on my timeline during the break. It's from J Smooth on Twitter. And he was saying, Jaylen Wells made my mother watch many NBA games with League Pass, even though I'm not with her. And he sent him a DM. So this guy sent Jaylen Wells a DM, and he said, hey, Mr. Wells. Excellent start. I'm from Japan, and my mother started watching Grizzlies games because of Yuki Kawamura. Then now she's watching games because of you. Consensual heart hands. When I was working at my office, she even texted me, he's starting like a proud mom when you started for the first time. I just wanted to tell you that there's one old mother in Tokyo rooting for you. Big love, and please keep my mother proud. I'm a diehard Celtics fan, though. Please go easy on us. Good luck next game, too. And he said, much love. Shout out to your mother. Oh. You can't be a Celtics fan now. Come on board.
Follow your mama.
Follow your mama. That's so sweet. I love our Japanese fans now. Growing by the day. All right, lots of NBA action. There was lots of NBA action. You know, it is hard to keep track of, like, this time of year, getting really into the weeds of the NBA in other games. But every time I see a Nikola Jokic stat line, I'm like, no, surely this is the other ridiculous Nikola Jokic stat line that I already saw across my timeline. They beat the Mavs yesterday, and Jokic had 37 points, 18 rebounds, and 15 assists.
He's on a tear. I don't know.
I mean, he has to be.
I guess that's what it is.
He has to be. Like, they're only going 8 deep right now. Got 20 points from their bench, but Jokic has been unbelievable. We'll talk a little bit about the Celtics-Bucks game in Hot Mess Express, but around the NFL, I watched quite a bit of the Sunday Night Football game, flipping back and forth between Grizzlies, Blazers, and Lions, Texans, and the Lions won in spite of Jared Goff throwing 5 interceptions. Last week, I said pretty confidently that I feel that the Lions are the best team in the NFL, and a game like yesterday only proves that point further, because to figure out how to win a game despite your quarterback throwing 5 interceptions is not an easy feat, and something that's only been done 3 times since 2000. There have only been 3 quarterbacks who have thrown 5 interceptions in a game, and their team has still won. Do you have any guesses, CJ?
The Giants with Eli Manning.
No.
The Chargers with Phillip Rivers.
No.
Bucks,
You're like kind of on the right brain length.
The Bucks
though.
with Jameis Winston.
No.
I'm thinking about dudes who throw a lot of
that
interceptions.
would've been
You said
good.
I was on the right wavelength with Rivers and Manning. So it's somebody around that time period, I'm guessing.
We got 1 in 2007 and 1 in 2011.
Oh, 7. Was Brett Favre still letting it fly in 07? Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't know who.
Tony Romo.
Okay.
And Matt Ryan.
I would have never got Matt Ryan. Matty Ice.
And now Jared Goff.
All right.
And they got that win. That kick was this close to not making it, but they did. Meanwhile, the Texans had... I am not going to do any official indictment on the Texans until they're back closer to full strength and with no Nico Collins out there, and somebody put Nico Collins in their fantasy football lineup yesterday because they told me Nico Collins was going to play, and then they snatched him right out of there. Which did not make me very happy.
You say indictment on
the Texans.
The Texans.
I don't know if the Texans are a very good team.
They're 7-.
I don't know if the Texans are a very good team.
Aren't they 7-3? I'm not tripping, am I?
They're not 7-3.
Okay.
They're 6-4.
6-4.
They would have been 7-3.
They would have been
if they had taken advantage of Jared Goff throwing 5 interceptions last night. They did a lot of wonky decision-making stuff in the second half of that game.
The Texans down Nico, and they were down Diggs too for a little bit.
They're down Diggs.
They're still
for
down Diggs.
a while. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's you take any team's best 2 receivers and arguably 2 of their best 3 offensive, not even arguably 2 of their best 3 offensive weapons. It's going to be tough for that team offensively to look good. It just is. That's just the
They're going to be the
game.
4 seed. Like, I don't see anyone in the AFC South.
You don't see the Jags or the Titans.
No, I don't see the
them.
Jags or the Titans or the Colts with Joe Flacco.
I forgot they were over there.
And they want a free AR. There's a free AR movement going on in Indianapolis.
Oh,
Anthony Richardson. What do you think I was talking about?
I thought we were talking about AR like
guns.
Like
No,
shoot, like,
no.
What do we? Why
But
do
the
they
Texans
want
will
those?
the Texans will make the playoffs, and we won't really know what their stuff is until then. The Chiefs got a win yesterday.
How?
Great question, CJ. How? That wasn't even just like a tip of a blocked kick. That was like a wha-bam blocked kick.
Got his
Like I
whole
felt
hand
that in
on
my
it.
soul, and that was Bo Nix maybe his best game. I watched a good amount of that game, and the Broncos Chiefs. It was a great first window of NFL action yesterday, and in our household, obviously Chris very invested in the Niners game, and the Niners almost lost to the Bucs because their kicker Moody missed 3 field goals. And when I tell you how bad my insides felt when he lined up for the game-winning field goal, I was like, this man's going to lose his job. This is a kick for a man's job. And he made it. And so it's all for naught. But that Bucs drive where Nick Bosa holding on to the arm of Baker Mayfield, he couldn't sack him because if you know, you know. If you know, you know. But it was one of the best darts I've never seen a quarterback make that kind of a throw while literally just being dragged by the arm for time went slowly. I felt like he was being dragged for 5 to 7 seconds. But not down on the ground.
Maga Bosa out there holding the arm of the white quarterback.
Not putting him on his
He would absolutely plant one of those blackies. He would absolutely.
Stop.
He would.
Stop.
He would. Let that have been Lamar Jackson. You know how far into they be peeling Lamar off the turf to this day. Right now, if Lamar his dark-skinned ass was running around out there and Bosa had him by the arm. But no, it's Baker.
Chris was
Who do you think Baker voted for?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think you know now.
There were a lot of TikToks trying to decipher that exact question.
I think you know now.
I don't know.
I think you know.
What I do know is that Chris was very calm, cool, and collected throughout that game, despite it being not a great performance by the Niners, but a fine performance. And on that play, he finally he was like, God! I was like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And then I did it when the Broncos kick got blocked against the Chiefs. What can you even say about the Chiefs? They're 9-0. They find ways to win. I have to feel confident about them because of who they are. Taylor Swift was back there. Taylor Swift in a very cute outfit yesterday, by the way, a little skirt blazer situation. And when she was walking in, you want to know what I loved about Taylor Swift yesterday?
What?
It's your fun, girly side note. She made all the photographers stand up when she came in because she was in a short skirt and she didn't want them shooting up her skirt. And I was like, that's a smart woman move. And things that men never have to think about.
No, you guys won't let us wear skirts for some reason. I don't know.
Wear a kilt. I'm not going to stop you.
That's cultural appropriation, Jessica.
No, it's not. That's
For me
cultural
to wear
appreciation.
a skirt?
I think people would be excited if you wear a kilt.
Or a kilt,
I think the Scots would be excited. A skirt. Now, if you wear a skirt, then that's a different. A kilt is a.
Yeah,
Chris's dad used to wear a kilt for every Halloween.
I can't do
Every
that.
single
That would be like you and a
Halloween.
dashiki. No, there's just some things we can't do.
Other NFL scores: the Steelers. The Steelers are 7-2. Do you believe in the Steelers?
I always have.
I know you have.
Yeah, that's I don't.
Russell Wilson with the F it. I'm just going to throw it downfield and maybe George Pickens is there.
He's there.
And he can do it.
And he's there.
He's there, and Russ can make the
throw
throw.
to Williams for the game-winning touchdown or the go-ahead score, whatever we call that phrase scientifically speaking. That was a good throw.
Mm-hmm.
Russell read the defense pre-snap, realized it was one-on-one outside, and his guy was he wasn't getting bumped, he wasn't getting jammed, so his guy was just going to be faster than the defensive back. Just put enough air under the ball, let him run under it, and that's what Williams did. What a trade deadline acquisition he was coming over from the Jets, right? If I remember correctly, coming over from the Jets, and look at him getting a game-winning touchdown on a pretty big play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Mike Tomlin is what Mike Tomlin is, and he's a good coach.
A winner.
He's a good coach. We get mad over, we as a collective football viewing public get mad over the Mike Tomlin never has a losing season thing. But he's never had a losing season. Come on, man. That's something to be celebrated. Is it a Super Bowl win every year? No. Is it a Super Bowl appearance every year? No, but there is something to be said about a coach who goes through an NFL season and routinely has winning records. Like, that's impressive.
Some teams that really feel destined to not have winning records this season. You mentioned the Jets. They remain very down bad, very down sad. Lost to the Cardinals 31-6. The Cowboys, they're just bad. They got smoked by the Eagles 34-6. They're playing Cooper Rush. Dak Prescott is out for maybe the rest of the season at this rate. Trey Lance played a little bit as well. If you thought that the Cowboys could still try to make something out of this year, it doesn't seem that way. And the Cowboys set a new NFL record where they have now trailed by 20-plus points in their last 5 home games. That is the first time in NFL history that a team has trailed by 20-plus in 5 straight home games.
All the money for that stadium. And
all the money for that team.
Jerry Jones can't put a curtain up. Like we can't block the sun from shining into your wide receiver's eyes.
My eyes.
As CeeDee Lamb is running wide the hell open. Running wide open in the back of the end zone and can't see the ball because he's looking directly into the sun. Jerry, you got money to fix that, dog. Handle it.
Like, come on. Protect your players' retinas. Protect your retinas.
Was that the drive where, I can't remember if they ended up having to kick a field goal or if they had Zeke fumble into the end zone?
I think that was the Zeke fumble.
Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on.
But, man, when you see when the video pops up, I know I'm watching on Red Zone, so when it cuts into that game.
I was watching it live.
I was blinded.
I was like, yo, what was that ball? My eyes. That looked like the ball, because Cooper Rush throws the ball. Like, yo, that ball looked like it hit him in his stomach. What's going on here? And then they show the reverse angle. It's like, oh, there's no way in hell CD can see that. Jerry, close that some, man.
The Bears were chanting fire Flus at the end of their game because they lost to the Patriots 19-3. 19-3. The Bears now 4-5 seem destined to be making a coaching change in Chicago. The Panthers and the Giants played in Munich, Germany, and the Giants lost to the Panthers in overtime. Bryce Young?
Still a bad quarterback.
Oh, I would say in bottom side of okay quarterback, but not a bad quarterback.
So you're saying he's a C-. I'm saying he's a D+.
No, I would say he's a D+. He's not an F is failure.
If he's a D+, that's a bad quarterback, Jessica. What are we talking about?
No, a D+ still has a chance to get bumped up if the teacher's feeling nice by the end of the year. He might have some extra credit. He's won 2 games in a row.
He's been the quarterback on a team that's won 2 games
in
a row.
But he hasn't lost his team 2 games in a row.
So you're saying he's a D+.
I'm saying he's a D+.
And I'm saying he's a D+.
No, I think you're like more on the
no.
Hardy D.
I'm telling you he's a D+ quarterback,
No,
and
you're
a D+
heavy on the
is
D.
bad. I am heavy on the D. That's why it's a plus.
I'm D+ with the 69.9%. So the roundup potential is there.
That's still a D+.
Did your teachers round up grades?
Depended on.
I feel like private schools were hard on that.
Oh, you mean in high school?
In high school.
Hell no. What your grade was, what your 75 point whatever, was just a 75. In fact, my teachers were more inclined to double round down. So
that's mean.
Have a 75.8, be like, nah, you put in like a 73% effort. You're getting a 73.
That's horrible.
Yeah, no. Now, college, on the other hand, it depended on who the teachers were and if you could cry your way. No, like literally had classmates like
cry.
I'm at a 69.5. I don't even need this class for real. Please just give me a C. It's the Christmas season. Please. And ball, crying. And
they said okay.
Some did. Some said, have a good season. See you next year. And hung up the phone on them.
Wow.
It's good stuff.
That's tough. Anyway, I give Bryce Young a D+, but I give the Giants a
F.
Big fat F because they're 2-8. And another coach that feels as if he is destined for the chopping block this season. The Saints finally got a win. The Saints finally got their third win of the season after starting 2-0 on the year and solving crime in the city of New Orleans. And everyone said the Saints going to be really good this year. They beat the Falcons 20-17, and they won the social media war of the weekend because they used one of Pope Francis's tweets where he has been continuously using hashtag Saints when tweeting about the actual Saints, and it brings up the Saints with the fleur de lis imagery that goes into a Saints hashtag. And so they used the Pope meme. This was 10 out of 10 efforts by the Saints social media team. And I do appreciate that now we can assume that the Pope blessed the Saints. And who's the Pope rooting for? I think it's the Saints. We'll see if they turn it around. Well, the Cardinals won too.
Hey.
It's a big weekend.
Big weekend.
Big weekend.
Is he the pontiff? Do we call him that? Why do I feel like
I don't
pontiff
know the
has
answer
something
to
to
that.
do with those people? And by
The
those people, I
pontiffs?
mean pontiff.
Pontiff?
Yeah.
Isn't it a Poncian is a former pope?
Yeah, no, I don't know anything about those. Pontiff.
Pope Pontius?
No.
Was the head of the Catholic Church in 1939.
I feel like we call him the pontiff.
Wait, P-O-N-T?
I-F. The pontiff.
I-F.
Yes. I'm making that up. I'm not Catholic. Forgive me.
The Pope Pontiff simply refers to the Pope, the head of the Catholic Church.
So, yeah, we do call him the pontiff.
As the term pontiff is another way to say
there
Pope.
we go.
Essentially meaning supreme pontiff.
Okay.
Is the Pope himself.
All right.
It originates from the Latin pontifex, which
Yep.
referred to a high priest in ancient Rome.
Absolutely.
That's your Latin.
I knew all of that.
I know you did. I'm so glad we got that. Last NFL score to get through. Vikings beat the Jags without scoring a touchdown. Vikings won 12-7. Doug Peterson. When will it happen for Doug Peterson? I don't know. But my favorite part of the Vikings game was the touchdown. Not the touchdown. When did this come from?
Game-ending interception.
Game-ending interception
Yeah.
from Cam Bynum, who gets the game-winning interception in the end zone and then hits him with the ray gun celebration.
Tells everybody stay back. Back up. Stay
Yes,
back.
it's a moment to be had.
Stay back. Oh,
And there we go.
it is. Bow. Yeah.
bow.
Get up. Oh, hit
Bow.
that pose on him. Ray Gun retired also.
She retired, but she will forever be in our hearts and minds. I'll never forget Ray Gun. Honestly, okay, to be fair, coming out of the Olympics, how often do you remember the names of random Olympians from other countries?
None.
Never.
None.
Ray Gun is immortal.
Yes.
Like, we will never. Ray Gun has a Vikings football player doing her little dance.
Would you rather have a medal or be remembered forever? As is the
great
case
question.
with Ray Gun and the pole vaulter who knocked the pole
Yeah, but we
down
don't
with
even know his
pole.
name. We only know his
Pole vaulter
pole.
dude. Yeah.
We don't know the man's name.
I call it Steve.
We only know the was she from South Korea, the shooter?
Oh, the dude, the cool dude.
Oh, that was
shooter?
Turkish. There was
Okay.
the cool dude Turkish shooter,
Yeah.
but then there was also the female assassin looking girl,
No.
woman.
No, I don't know her.
Oh.
I got her already.
I feel like we had some big international attention getters, but none whose name we know, like Ray Gun. She changed breaking forever.
Forever.
And we'll never see it in the Olympics again.
Thank goodness.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we will do some Hot Mess Express. Giannis Antetokounmpo made the Celtics mad yesterday. The state of Florida had a no good, very bad week in all things football related. And as Gary mentioned, college men's basketball related as well. We'll talk about a premature field rush, some interesting packaging for the Wicked Barbie dolls by Mattel, and some monkeys that continue to be on the loose. That's all when we come back.
Now every time you go to Miami, you can go see, that's a statue of me there.
No, I don't look nothing like that thing, man. Look, I'm sorry.
I would have been offended.
Look at that. That is UTA.
Oh, look. Hey, y'all got to get that screenshot, man. Put that on the.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
One of the things I really do like about the history of the Memphis Grizzlies is that we have people who have moved here and stayed here. I like how much some of those guys have not only made millions here and won games here, but spent real time here and raise children here.
Yes.
And become a real part of the community.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The three big beats this week. One was root for points in honor of John Roser. How about that Miami-Louisville game?
Good
Crushed
grief.
the over, which was 60. Finished with 97 total points, 52 to 45. Meanwhile, the academies covering, again, both Army and Navy, getting the job done.
This.
Army, best start since 96.
America.
Navy crushed Charlotte. They're ranked 23rd and 24th in the country.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Who do you see ending up in the SWAC championship game? So give me your East and your West based on what you see right now.
If I had to say from what I've seen this year so far, I think you're probably going to get a Southern Jackson SWAC championship.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
You know, we got to talk about Scotty Pippen Jr. Scotty has inked that contract, and he is now officially off the two-way. He is a member of the regular rotation.
Well-deserved, from my opinion. Like, he straight up earned this one from all the time put in last season with the injuries to Summer League.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizz Beat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
So if I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
Goldberg announces he's going to have a retirement match in 2025, and he said this on College Game Day.
We know you're trying to ride the coattails because the 2025 is supposed to be the year of John Cena. Goldberg, I have a message for you, my guy. We don't care about your retirement match. Your retirement match was 3 years ago. Go somewhere, go away.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Chugga, 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 chugga.
Choo-choo!
All aboard!
The Hot Mess Express. Chugga, 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 chugga.
Welcome back, welcome back. All right, I'm going to hit Tyra with a surprise off the top because we didn't get to it in the NBA discussion earlier. But Giannis Antetokounmpo hit Jaylen Brown with a classic too slow moment in the Bucks-Celtics game yesterday. This was Giannis, just the straight over. When is the last time you saw this move?
as an uncle, you do this move all the time.
Oh, that's
And
true.
this move is
I'm
done
not
to you all
around
the
enough
time.
children.
Yeah.
I have
That's
not done that since maybe middle school.
Oh,
But
what
I'm
you
bringing it
missing?
back to my life thanks to Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah,
Jaylen Brown called him a child. A child.
Yeah,
He
that
said,
is-
we're focused on wins.
That is a childish thing to do. That doesn't make it not funny.
I know, I love
still
it.
is funny.
I want more of it. I appreciate Giannis
I
for
think
being a
Jaylen
child.
Brown thought it was funny also. He just can't say that he thought it was funny.
It was a moment that made me giggle from the weekend. Another moment.
The little things in life.
It really is. Like Ole Miss students rushing the field 16 seconds early in their win over Georgia, because that is exactly what happened in Oxford, Mississippi. There are still 16 seconds on the clock. We're watching this game live. I'm thinking to myself, how are they going to just convince Georgia to not play the final 16? Because I didn't think there was any way to get all of these students off the field with Lane Kiffin with some choice words within the moment. But I gotta hand it to them. They got him off there pretty quick, considering the chaos of that moment. And then they rushed it again.
Like, why are you rushing the field if you're Ole Miss?
That's okay. My overarching take. We have to be moving towards the end of field storming. Outside of the very, very special, sacred moments.
How many field stormings have we seen this year?
Too many.
And how many were deserved? One.
Which is the one you're thinking about?
Vanderbilt,
Yes,
Alabama.
Vanderbilt, Alabama
that's the only
deserved
one,
it.
That's the only one that
Completely
I think
agree.
deserved it.
This
All
I
the
didn't
rest of them,
need.
no.
Tennessee beating
Nope.
Alabama again. No, you already did this.
Yep.
Who are the idiots who... Minnesota when they beat USC? Rutgers
come
when
on.
they beat USC?
Come on,
I don't need
man.
this in my life. But this is unnecessary. And it got really crazy really quick. Like, I don't want to sound... This sounds really silly coming from me, considering I was at the Ole Miss LSU game and I rushed the field.
Another field storming
I
we did
rushed
not
the
do.
field.
Yes.
I'm not even an Ole Miss fan, and I found myself tumbling over the side of Vaught Hemingway Stadium and ending up on the field and ending up on Chris's shoulders. But watching this one from home, like the rapidity at which some of those fans were sitting on the goalpost and they were shaking. I was like, what if the goalpost fell right now and hit somebody in the head? Another one I thought was during the LSU Alabama game when they were throwing water bottles on the field again. And apparently like a beer bottle hit one of the photographers square in the back. And he tweeted about it afterwards. But like, what are we doing? Have some chill.
Come on, man.
We're a zero chill society.
Every big win does not require a field storm.
And every call that you disagree with in the moment does not
mean,
deserve
throw
you
things
throw
on the
things.
field.
And in that
Don't
case,
throw
it was
things
a
on the field.
hold. It was a face mask. Like, there's a very clear face mask. Anyway, happy Ole Miss fans for the weekend. It was a big win. We didn't get into the end of the Utah-BYU game. I really thought Utah was going to beat BYU. They don't call it the Holy War for nothing, but now they will call it the Mormon Miracle, and it came at the hands of officials at the end of this game. BYU, in case you missed it, had a 4th and 10 from their own 10, and Utah sacked their quarterback. And then there was a holding call. And I have watched that video many times. And it was a stretch to call that as a hold, especially within the moment of that game. And it gave BYU life, and they ended up getting in field goal position, and they kicked the game-winning field goal. And when they went to do their post-game press conference, you usually hear from the coach, you usually hear from the players, but their athletic director scooted in and took the mic first, and this is what he had to say.
For 12 years, this game was absolutely stolen from us. We were excited about being in Big 12, but tonight I am not. We won this game. Someone else stole it from us. Very disappointed. I will talk to the commissioner. This was not fair to our team. I'm disgusted by the professionalism of the officiating crew tonight.
I was very excited to be in the Big 12, and now I'm not. Stolen. I'm disgusted.
I will talk to the commissioner. Yeah, no, bleep you will. Damn right you got to go talk to that man after you said that.
And
yeah.
the commissioner talked to him and said, here's your $40,000 fine. I saw that number and I was stunned that they hit him with a $40,000 fine.
Athletic director.
But you want to know why? Because they can't risk the rest of us sitting here today saying, you know what, he kind of had a point. Like the other fraudulent, undefeated team that I have been harping on, Miami finally got their comeuppance. They couldn't do it for Miami one more time. Georgia Tech was undeniable over the weekend. And Cam Ward has been fantastic. He's kept Miami afloat. Like, I'm not trying to take away from Cam Ward, but Miami did not play like a team that was undefeated and should be in the conversation of one of the best teams in college football right now. And BYU is the same. They got absolutely bailed out in that game. And we will see if they make it through the rest of their regular season schedule. The perhaps collision course ahead would be if they face Colorado in the Big 12 championship game. And if Colorado were to beat BYU in the Big 12 championship game. Colorado beat Texas Tech over the weekend. They've looked good, but I hated it for Utah. Utah's lost 5 straight games. Everyone thought Utah was going to run the Big 12, and instead they've lost 5 straight. And that was their first time scoring 21 points since September 21st. So has not been good. Other Hot Mess Express items from the weekend to get into: the state of Florida, particularly football playing institutions in the state of Florida. This has never happened before in history. Every single FBS, FCS, and NFL team lost over the weekend in Florida. The Miami Dolphins play tonight, so the Dolphins have a chance in their game tonight against the Rams to end this no good, horrible football weekend. But Florida teams are 0-11. FAU, Florida, Miami, Florida State, who got crushed by Notre Dame, South Florida, UCF all lost. FAMU lost, Bethune-Cookman lost, Stetson lost, Jags lost, Bucks lost. 0-11.
That FAMU loss to Prairie View, shocking. Like that is bad for the great state of Florida. Oh my goodness, Florida's got all of this football playing talent. Also, everybody to lose. Everybody. Yo, that's shocking.
The whole state.
From Florida State to Tampa, from Tampa to Florida International. All that state
all
is
the
doing
directionals
is
of the
losing.
Florida. Wow. You want to know who else lost over the weekend?
Who?
Mattel.
Are you sure?
Or did they win? I don't know. Mattel. I saw this story and I thought surely this was fake. This could not be real. But it was. Mattel accidentally printed a porn site on the packaging of their Wicked Barbie dolls that they're selling. The URL is supposed to be wickedmovie.com, but instead Mattel put wicked.com. And wicked.com leads you to a website where you have to answer, are you 18 years or older to enter this website? I did.
What's on it?
I didn't go through it. I was just making sure that it was real.
What do you mean you didn't go through it?
I didn't press yes.
But you were over 18.
I just got out of it. I know I could have, but I was busy last night. I had things to watch. I had Grizzlies, Trailblazers. I had Sunday Night Football. We're still watching that Disclaimer show, and all I wanted to do was keep watching Disclaimer, but the second half of the Grizzlies game started. My favorite detail of the story, though, is that there was a report earlier this year that Mattel was going to start using AI to bring your next Barbie boxes to life. So the idea that AI, I don't know, I cannot confirm that it was AI who did wicked.com instead of wickedmovie.com. But imagine being like a little kid and you're like, I want to learn more about my new Wicked Barbies. The Wicked premiere was over the weekend.
I saw Ariana.
I ingested a lot of Wicked premiere content.
Saw her coming to tears when talking about how, what's the other person's name?
Kristen Chenoweth, or in the movie right now, Cynthia Erivo.
Her. How she has made her a better person or something like that.
One would say she has been changed for good.
Okay. I'm assuming that's a Wicked reference.
I've heard it said. I can't waste all my Wicked lyrics yet. We still have 11 days until the movie comes out. They called it Gladict on SNL.
No.
Spoiler for our SNL talk of tomorrow.
No.
They actually put more of an emphasis on the glad, so they called it like Gladict, but they see the vision.
Oh gosh.
They see the vision. Last week, 43 monkeys escaped a research center in South Carolina.
How'd that happen?
Oopsie, someone left a door open. I hate when that happens. The good news is, yesterday only one monkey had been recovered safely. As of this morning, 25 monkeys have been returned to their research center home safely. The bad news is that 18 are still out there. They say that the monkeys that got out are too young to be carrying any disease, but you also don't want to encounter wild monkeys. Also, of course they want us to believe that the monkeys are too young to be carrying disease.
Isn't this how Planet of the Apes starts?
Yes.
Yeah, come on. No.
And the place is called Alpha Genesis. That just sounds like an evil place where eventually the monkeys get released and we all go away. It houses 7,000 primates for biomedical studies and other scientific research. Police warned the public not to get near the monkeys if they find them, and also asked for people to stop flying drones because people were using drones to try to locate the monkeys. The center is next to the woods, so a lot of the monkeys are just they're probably having the time of their lives. They're like, these are the trees I was meant to climb.
What's the problem with the drones?
Because apparently they're getting interference.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Something tells me they just want to get these monkeys back and not have to deal with anything.
These monkeys are doing strange things, and they don't want us to capture it with the
I
drone.
hope not.
I hope not also, but
our friends at PETA, rough weekend for our friends at PETA.
What
between
else
the tiger, Omar the tiger.
Oh.
They were real mad about that. I saw a lot of people pretty mad about that, especially how they had the container cage that they had him in. And then the monkeys. They already don't like testing on monkeys.
Listen, man, how do you let this many monkeys get loose? How does that happen? Monkeys, they're in a cage that's in a larger room. So they break out of the cage, break out of the larger room. There's not a hallway or nothing for them to run down. And you guys be like, oh no, monkeys on the loose. Let's run in and grab them before they get outside.
What was the name of that Edgar Allan Poe show that we watched?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Oh.
That referenced the monkey's paw. And they got mauled by the monkeys in the facility that they were doing monkey research on.
Yeah.
That was horrifying.
Oh, it was a good show.
That was a great show. What was that show called? On
can't
Netflix.
I can't think of it. You give me a second. I can
No,
look
I
it
got
up.
it.
You gonna look it
Netflix.
up?
Edgar Allan Poe show. House of Usher. Follow the House of Usher.
Yep.
That was this year.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
What?
That was this year.
What a good show.
Oh, wait, never mind.
Exactly.
It was last fall.
Exactly. Exactly.
That makes me feel better. I've really had a hard time conceptualizing what I've watched this year versus what I watched last year.
Twan said they escaped during feeding and that the keeper did not know. How do you lose 50 monkeys during feeding? How?
That makes no sense.
No, get out of here. That person should absolutely be fired for letting all these mutant monkeys out into the woods.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Do your job.
Dude, that's all.
Also, speaking of not being able to keep track of things, I totally forgot but misplaced in my brain that Tigers football played Friday night. I was watching that game while I was watching the Grizzlies Wizards game. I was like, why can't I place this in my Saturday schedule of the games that I was watching? Because it was Friday.
Yep.
At Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium.
Liberty Hall, shout out.
I'm trying to call it by its full name. I'm trying to give it the respect that it deserves. I hope everyone had a good Monday. We'll be back tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow's going to be a show. I can't tell you why.
You can't?
No, I can't tell you why, but tomorrow is going to be a show. Mike Wallace will join us. We'll talk about what he's seen from the Grizzlies gearing up for the start of, or not the start of the road trip. The road trip started in Portland, but a heavy portion of West Coast teams ahead. Lakers and Warriors on the road. Then they'll get the Nuggets starting next weekend here at FedEx Forum. We'll talk with Mike about that. Will Coleman will join us. We'll talk about the 2-0 Memphis Tigers. We'll do some TV Tuesday. It'll be fun. We'll keep going through our week. We'll see you then. Bye.
So you're not going to tell him?
I'm not going to tell him.